ultimately Medina's fighting for her life and it's like street instincts. It's like just her body just knows what to do to protect herself.
Count two.
Yeah.
You got a pretty intense sequence there towards in the last act. You got a massive fight scene with Daniela's character. What was that like? That looked like a lot of fun to pull off.
It was awesome. I mean, I love somehow over the course of my career, without necessarily like trying, I have had the good fortune of getting to do stunts, which is never something I envisioned for myself. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm like, kind of a wimp, a little bit of a little bit of scaredy cat. But the benefit of being an actor is you get to sort of step into your greatness and you get to, portray characters that are, stronger than you, that have all the right moves, so to speak. And we started training for this before filming began. So it was like one of the first things that we started to sort of both train to be physically ready, but also learn the choreography so that we could really be believable. And obviously for myself and for Daniela's character, Anais, we're two very different fighting styles, what our backgrounds would be to prepare us for any sort of like hand to hand fight. And we also had an incredible stunt department and stunt team led by Fernando Chen, as well as two amazing female stunt doubles, Bronte and Nyla, because obviously when you see our faces, it's us. There's no face swapping. That's us. But those like, big hits that make the audience go like, oh, like, you want to sell it in a way that the audience viscerally feels, that hit. And in that instance you need like some of the toughest chicks around, so thankfully we had that as part of our collective, and I'm really proud of that fight. I mean, I don't know what you thought of it, but I thought it was like pretty cool.
I mean, no, I thought it was great, and it also looked pretty brutal. And it made me think. I was like, how often does Medina get into big hand to hand scenarios like this? This felt like a kind of a new situation for her to be in.
Yeah.
She doesn't seem to be the combat person.
Yeah, I feel like in the Treasury Department is
Yeah.
probably not happening most days. But I will say that what I thought was great, Gavin O'Connor, our director, I think his whole thing is feeling like any movement, any fight scene is not just fighting for fight's sake. That, ultimately Medina's fighting for her life and it's like street instincts. It's like just her body just knows what to do to protect herself. So it's not about a slick maneuver, it's not stylized. It's what would happen. What does she know instinctively as somebody, again, who had a scrappy upbringing and who maybe goes to the occasional boxing gym class like I like to go to. This is what their body's sort of ready to do to fight for survival. So I think that when the scene really works, it's because it is grounded and rooted in real stakes. And ultimately, you're looking at these two characters, and it's like, okay, who's going to make it out of this? So I think emotionally, I know when I saw it with an audience, people were like audibly reacting to the fight and what happens, which is great. It means that, oh, they care. They care about the fate of these characters. They're invested. So I think that's all you could ask for sure.
Yeah. Now, the end of the movie, where would you say where does the Count to leave Medina kind of just mentally, and what would you love to explore with her in a hypothetical, third movie? If this story continues, what's the next step you think for her character?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see this story continue because obviously we've kind of like established this essentially a mythology around Christian Wolf and the characters within that mythology. And I think for her, you see her, we sort of represent it from beginning of the movie to end with this chair, right? We use the metaphorical, like we'll call it the big boss chair. And in the beginning of the movie, she is literally like not comfortable, kind of shifting around. This idea of like, do I feel comfortable sitting in this big boss chair? And then by the end of the movie, we see her, literally in this sort of the villain, so to speak, his, funky, like beat up leather chair, and her feeling quite comfortable taking a seat and claiming the seat, in fact. So I think there were a lot of conversations actually around that kind of to sort of demonstrate with, Medina where does she end up? What's her sort of philosophy potentially? What has she now been exposed to that makes her think, I still want to put the bad guys away, but maybe there are other means, other ways to do it. And she's definitely changed by the end. I would say that I don't think she's the same Mary Beth Medina that she is at the beginning of the movie. So I myself, we've been asked quite a bit during the press tour about a third movie, and that's always very flattering when you haven't even gotten the second movie out, that people are already like chomping at the bit for more. So I am too, and fingers crossed that there's more story to tell.
Are you excited for a 2034 release? I think, right? That's the schedule
let's
here.
let's hope it doesn't take that long. But good things come to those who wait. But definitely, I think that people's ears are open in terms of the positive response. And like I said, so far, just in early screenings, like getting the audience award at South by Southwest, it's been really, really awesome to see that people are enjoying it as much as we hope.